The Prime Minister made a special statement in Parliament today with regard to the issues raised by trade unions over the proposals of the 2016 budget.
We think of the country first, second and third. The future of the country, the UMP and the SLFP established a national government together in order to take meaningful steps for the future of the country, to solve the fundamental problems facing the country. The President is making all sacrifices to rebuild the country. Power is being used to rebuild the country, not to fulfill personal agendas. If I am unable to use power to rebuild the country, then I am prepared to abandon power and leave. I do not intend to sacrifice the country to protect my power.
Responding to the demands made by the trade unions, the Prime Minister reiterated today that the Employees Provident Fund and Employees Trust Fund would be maintained as separate entities under the central bank. He added that a new management system would be introduced to prevent theft of these funds. Noting that the pensions of public sector employees will not be annulled in any way, the Prime Minister said a change would only be made to the pension system.
I do not need to remind you that the funds allocated for the payment of pensions increases every year. The pensions bill, which was 83 million rupees in 1961, has increased to 99,961 million by 2011. By 2050, it will increase to 4 trillion or 4,000 billion. In truth, we do not have the strength to face such a serious situation. What will happen if we do not have the strength? We will be unable to pay pensions to public sector employees who will retire in the future. The Rajapaksa regime did not research this from a scientific standpoint. They recruited public sector employees for the need of safeguarding their political popularity. But the real situation is that financial provisions were not made to pay the pensions of any of the public sector employees who were recruited since 2005. That is why we propose a pension system with funding through the budget. We are exerting ourselves to introduce a funded scheme instead of a scheme with no funding. We want a funded system as opposed to an unfunded system. This is the amendment that we made. Through this system, a fund will commence from day one when a person is recruited to a public sector job. We are hoping to hold extensive discussions to the new system with the trade unions in January. The system will be implemented once Parliament's approval is obtained.
A sum of 2,000 rupees will be added to the basic salaries of public sector employees at the beginning of next year, as the first phase of the scheme to add allowances to employees' basic wages. However, the Prime Minister guaranteed that at the point of retirement, all allowances would be added to employees' basic salaries. Wickremesinghe added that the National Salaries Commission would be re-established and a comprehensive report would be obtained within 6 months. The Prime Minister also guaranteed that all employees retiring from January 2016 would receive the Agrahara medical insurance benefits.
We have decided to take several interim measures until final decisions can be made following discussions with the relevant factions. As such, the revenue license charge will be reduced to 15%. The emissions test charge will be reduced to an interim charge of 1,500 rupees. The estimate cost of a vehicle in the event of leasing will be reduced to 5,000 rupees. The estimate cost for three-wheelers and motorcycles will be reduced to rupees 3,000.
The Prime Minister also requested the trade unions to hold discussions with the chairmen of banks and submit a common proposal with regard to removing pawning and leasing limits imposed on banks. He added that the matter of the 2% tax on withdrawals exceeding 1 million rupees from bank accounts would be studied and that a decision would be made after obtaining a report from the central bank. Furthermore, the Prime Minister noted that no changes would be made to the 8-hour workday and that 2,500 rupee wage hike for private sector employees would be granted from May 2016.
The people gave us power to serve the country. We are committed to this service and we will fulfill the hopes the people have placed in us. We are not thinking about short-term political advantages. We want to safeguard the country. If we fail to understand the true state of the nation, not only we will all fall into decline, we will all be destroyed. Thereby, instead of narrow-minded thinking, let us over the next few years make the necessary policy decisions. I request the employees of the public and private sector to always be thoughtful in their actions. I call on them to make decisions for the country and for the people without turning back the revolution of the 8th of January.